Hello, we've just finished another Sparkle session, this time with Felice Ayling, also known as the clapback queen of LinkedIn. So my three highlights, three takeaways from the session were, so Felice was, as ever, fantastic. We've known each other for about 15 years now. And she shared really honestly and openly about her challenges with getting her branding right, creating her Loud Women, and her work around that, and moving from marketing to helping female founders be visible, be more visible, be loud, and getting past the blocks, helping us get past the blocks that stop us from doing that. So my three kind of main takeaways. Felice, she spoke really openly about the fact that she's 6 weeks into her into a group program. This is the third time she's tried launching the group program. This third one is the first time she's sold places. So the first time she's got people signing up. So the first two times she talked about, what happened and what didn't work. And the learnings are her learnings about. There's a great question about what made the difference with the third one. So Felice's reply was, keep going with the graft that it takes to launch something and really build an audience. So in her case, she's had support with a sales coach, but there are other ways of getting support to keep doing the difficult stuff. It could be in the communities, and it could be informally with peer groups. But people who encourage you to keep going, even when you're bored of talking about the same thing, you're sick of the sound of your own voice, you really think people kind of probably not interested, and maybe you're feeling like you're ready to give up. Support to remind you to keep going, and that actually you have to share the message, and you have to share the message so many times before someone in your target audience will actually take it in. And the other thing that she said was about really leaning into her passion and her purpose. So reaching people with her personality, and with her, her Loud Women branding, her determination to take down the patriarchy and calling out the bullshit, rather than just relying on her credentials as a marketer and her experience, because actually it's really noisy out there, particularly in the space of kind of female founders running their own businesses. It's really noisy, and actually we connect with people on personality as well. We also want them to be experts and good at what they do, but it's the personality that we really connect with, and that's where we build the relationship. And she also talked about launch trauma, so that after she launched it the first time and it flopped, she was like, I'm never doing that again. Of course, we know that the story ends differently, because she tried a second time and a third time, and the third time it's really working. So, but the idea that it can be really it can feel like a personal criticism when we've poured our love and care into something and it flops. But as Felice said about LinkedIn posts as well, the great thing about what happens when something flops is no one knows, because no one noticed it. That's kind of the point. So although that feeling of your heart really sinking because what you've slaved over and what you think is amazing hasn't landed with anyone, that means that actually no one cares. No one else is looking at you thinking, oh, she tried to do that and failed. And also, actually, the thing is to learn from it, get some help and support from friends, supporters, peers, and take what you've learned and try again, incorporating those learnings. And that's how we figure it out. That's how we get to the kind of the success that we really want to, and making the difference that we really want to in the world, is by keep iterating, going around the loop again, figuring out what we learned from the last time and iterating it until we really reach our audience and until we get to be doing the work that we really want to be doing. And I think that's probably enough takeaway. I think there's one more thing I wanted to say, which is that we talked about all the fears that we have as women around being visible, and how heavy they are, and how we are often not even aware of them, because it's just life. It's just normal to be navigating, worrying about, will I sound unprofessional? Will I sound too bossy? Will that be taken as aggressive? Will there be dickheads jumping into my comments to tell me to go back and get home and get back in the kitchen? But we are so used to navigating all of that you don't always see the cage even. We just carry the weight of it and just get on with it. But both Felice and I think it's really powerful to name those fears, especially in a room full of other women, where we can learn we're not alone. It's not just us, and I think it's also really important to figure out what those fears are and what the triggers are, what's holding us back, what's stopping us or holding us back from doing something that would be really beneficial for our business. It might be showing up more, it might be speaking out more, it might be launching a program, a workshop, a group program, a service, and it might be launching it in a particular way aimed at a really specific audience because we understand their challenges, understanding what those triggers are and what's holding us back, and figuring out ways that we can support ourselves to get past the trigger, because those things that are uncomfortable, often the things we really want are on the other side of that discomfort. So it's not about just pushing through and making life really hard. It's about finding ways to support ourselves through the difficult things, because we know we want to get somewhere else on the other side of it. It was brilliant to have people there. Hope this has been helpful, and I'm going to stop there.